Welcome back to Narrations by Sean. We've got more entitled people who don't see that karmic boomerang heading straight for them. Story 1 is titled, Entitled Woman of Wally World. I'm 47 male, but this event occurred the week of Halloween 2002, back when I was 25. Now, Halloween was on a Thursday, and the costume party I was attending was the Saturday before, the 26th. This is important for the story. Also important to know that I was recovering from a stroke I'd had 3 months prior. My stepbrother, then 25, was throwing a costume party at his house, and I was really looking forward to it, especially since I hadn't done much socially that past few months. My buddy Fernando and I were excited to go. I was dressed up as Uncle Fester from the Addams Family, and Fernando was going as Zorro. We had to make a pit stop at the nearby Walmart so Fernando could buy a plastic sword for his costume. I decided to pick up a few extra snacks and drinks, so I went in too. We'd get stopped by random customers who complimented our costumes, and we thanked them, but we were men on a mission. Once we grabbed everything we needed, we headed to the checkout lines. I should also note that I deal with some social anxieties, so I was looking around to assess my surroundings while waiting in line. Now, cue the Karen. She absolutely looked the part, down to the clearly fake blonde haircut and costume jewelry. She had a little girl in the cart who screamed bloody murder the instant she saw me. I immediately began to apologize to Karen that frightening her daughter wasn't my intent. Before I could finish, she cuts me off and begins the tongue lashing. Who the F do you think you are? Going around like this? Scaring innocent little girls when it's not even Halloween? What the heck is wrong with you? Keep in mind, it was 5 days before Halloween. We locked eyes and I responded with, you're right, that it's a few days before Halloween. All the parties are tonight, but I'm a reasonable man, so I'll tell you what, I'll remove my face makeup if you take off your mask. She starts to respond with, but I'm not wearing. You SOB! How dare you speak to me like that? I say, but I did. So now what? This is when I'm met with a sudden sharp pain to the knee and I fall over, Karen having rammed her cart into me. As I was still recovering from my stroke, my equilibrium was laughing and I fell straight to the ground. The cashier in our lane immediately paged for a manager and loss prevention, and Karen attempted to backtrack and leave the lane. 2 other customers had blocked her in. As Fernando was helping me get back on my feet, I saw the manager and loss prevention rushing over to see the commotion. The manager and I sat on a nearby bench so I could explain everything that happened, and the loss prevention led Karen in the opposite direction. After a few minutes, a police officer approaches. I greet the officer, identify myself, and he asks if I want to press charges against Karen for the assault. I told him, you bet your sweet butt I do. The cop radios to a partner, and a minute later I see Karen being escorted out in handcuffs, followed by another officer carrying her young daughter. Update: Karen was formally charged and ended up with $1,500 in fines and 14 days jail time. Looking back, I should probably thank Karen. That little limp I got from the spill added to my costume, and everyone thought it was intentional. So you go to Walmart to pick up some snacks and drinks. You end up getting assaulted, but it adds to your costume. So OP had an interesting way of looking at it, but the mom, wanting to defend her daughter, now gives herself a police record, and her daughter is further traumatized because you can't just say, it's okay honey, it's just a man dressed in a costume. On to story 2. Story 2 is titled, Idiot Blocking Free Parking Bays, UK. I'm a recently passed driver and I'm still getting my confidence up driving solo. The way some people think they own the roads is still a shock to me and something I'm getting used to. This happened days after passing. I had taken my disabled auntie out to go Christmas shopping and get her a treat for helping me with getting my first car. The small car part I had to use had very narrow one-way roads, and only a handful of disabled bays, which were smaller than the average for some reason. Luckily, I managed to get one as my auntie has a blue badge, handicap placard to the Americans. After loading up the car, getting in and doing all the checks, etc., I got ready to reverse out of the bay as the car next to me loaded up. Then this guy in a pickup truck stops right behind 3 disabled bays and spends time on his phone before getting out and going to the shop. He wasn't in a bay, just on the road behind all 3 cars, so we were all blocked in, even though there's bays free and the road's almost impassable with his truck blocking half of it. The person in the car next to me gets out and follows him and asks him to move his truck. When they came back, I was told that he said, "F off, it's not my problem, you figure it out." After waiting 15 minutes, still being blocked in, the police car shows up. The police get out, look at the truck, and get on the radio. Soon after, his truck is getting hooked up to a tow truck just as the guy is returning, shouting and swearing at the police. Naturally, I roll down my window to be nosy, and here he's getting tickets for illegal parking, blocking the highway, blocking access to disabled bays, out-of-date tax, and having a bald tire. The guy keeps screaming like a sailor at the police, so they arrest him as well. Lesson here is simple. Drive and park like a twit, say goodbye to your vehicle, license, and maybe your freedom. Sorry if any typos or errors, I'm on mobile here. I will never understand why people keep doing this. And they do it apparently everywhere. You are blocking people from leaving. You tell them to figure it out. They figure it out. And then you don't like the solution. And then it's like, this is poppycock. This is not acceptable. Someone please call the queen. Oh wait, they don't have a queen anymore. Call the king. Sorry for that crappy voice. It seemed funnier in my head. Since these stories are short, we're going to try a new subreddit and give you one final story. This one is from Malicious Compliance. Story 3 is titled, "Can't Fill My Water Bottle with Water I Pay For?" Okay. I'm in college. I live in the dorms, where I'm required to have a meal plan. I have 19 meals per week. My degree requires a lot of lab work on the 11th floor of a building, and we wear lab coats. I love getting ice water after my lab, especially since I have to walk all the way across campus. My water bottle is insulated, so it keeps ice for a while, which I love. I go to fill my water bottle with ice, and upper level worker stops me. Ma'am, no filling personal bottles here. The workers do it all the time. It's in their contract. I bet not, but sure. I know workers get free food and beverages both on and off shift, and I always see them using and filling personal water bottles. I don't know why I can't. Their water bottles can also be gross and unclean. Using a reusable bottle is more eco-friendly anyway. My dining hall likes to be climate friendly, but they use a lot of paper plates and plastic silverware, especially when they serve at least 2,000 people per day. So I looked the worker in the face and filled my water bottle with a paper cup. It took so much longer and was more wasteful than if he had just ignored me. He shook his head and walked away. Now I fill my water bottle with no problems and enjoy my ice water whenever I want. Nice work on the technicality. You're not filling your personal water bottle. You're wasting time and filling it with a cup that they're just going to have to throw away. Meanwhile, there is probably somebody doing something that that person really could have stopped them from doing, but instead, let's go after something petty. Okay, that wraps up this edition of Narrations by Sean. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Like I said earlier, I wanted to give you more than 2 because these were short, but still funny. If you enjoyed as usual, I hope you're continuing to tell people about this channel because I'd love more subscribers and more likes and comments. I really want to grow this community, so as long as you keep listening, I'm gonna keep reading. Have a great day, like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you again soon. Have a good one.